What's up YouTube? Brian here, back again with another video, and today we are going to be talking about the new kid on the block in the Daiwa spinning reel line. Not the new Exist, but the new Daiwa Ballistic. Now, as you can tell, I got a whole table full of red and black spinning reels. So first off, I got to give a shout out to the reel manufacturers. Can you guys do another color combination? Now, I don't mind black and red. It's cool. It's fine. I mean, the Vanford, the Kage, the Ballistic, but would it kill you guys to like do something with a little blue or a different color? Just saying. I think we're good on red. Like, we've seen a lot of red, right? There must be some marketing statistical information that says U.S. anglers love black and red or anything with red. Okay, anyway, that being said, I was really excited to get this in the mail today. Omnia got these in stock. These have been popping up at various tackle retailers in very small batches. This reel was teased last year at ICAST. So it's been like, Daiwa showed these off. They never came out last summer. No one had a single reel last summer. They started to trickle into the late winter and into fall. So it took a while for Daiwa to actually get these into people's hands. So let's talk about it real quick. Now, the interesting thing is this is pretty much the same price point as the old Ballistic. So I have that on the table. And by the way, these are our 3000s. All of these reels on the table here are 3000, 3000 Kage, 3000 Vanford, and then, 3000 Ballistics here. So this reel got a complete overhaul. So there's nothing carried over from the old Ballistic. So this is a Ballistic 3000 LT. Gone is the anti-reverse switch. No more anti-reverse. This got a complete and utter monocoque makeover. So the frame of this reel is completely different than the old frame. Basically, this is like totally deprecated. Nothing from this carried over except some of the hints of the paint scheme, right? So let's talk about the new Ballistic MQ. So it got the monocoque treatment. Daiwa's been dropping the monocoque body down through its reel line. Started with the Exist, then the Surte, then the platform that came out with the Luvius and the Kage MQ. So this platform, and now there's the Ballistic, and then there's in Australia and other countries they're getting a version of this reel. It's called the Ciata or something like that. Cadia. So I don't remember what it's called, but it's black and gold. But it's basically the same reel as this, and it's going out to other markets besides the U.S. But the U.S. market is getting the Ballistic. Now, what's interesting is the Kage MQ, which was the semi-affordable. This is $350, I believe, for this, which came in cheaper than the Surte. This comes out at $230, I believe, $220, $230, somewhere there. So my question first off was, what changed? Like, how did they get? I mean, obviously these reels don't share the same body. The bodies are completely different between the Kage and the Ballistic. The only parts that I could see that are shared is the rotor. So this rotor is totally different, although the Kage seems to have a brass roller bearing, so it has a little more expensive roller bearing than the Ballistic. But so the rotors, from what I can tell, the rotors are the same. The handles are the same part. But that's about it. The spools are completely different. The bodies are different. They both are the same gear ratio, so I'm guessing the internal gearing is probably the same on these. They're both, oh wait, I take that back. The Kage is a higher speed 3000. This is a 6:2:1, so I was completely wrong. This is the higher speed. This is a slower speed gear ratio. This is a 5:2:1. So I take that back, not the same gears. But anyway, I will say in hand, both of these reels feel the same, which is a good thing because I can't really, like, if I close my eyes and held both these reels and turn the handles, I'm honestly not really telling the difference which is which, other than my Kage. I have a full season of use on this Kage, and as usual with most Daiwa reels, as you use them, they start to get loose. So there is some handle play now. if you guys can hear that. So I'm holding the rotor and I'm holding the body firm. There's it's not in the knob. It's actually in this part. This part is a little wiggly now. And it's doing this. I have 2 of these, and both of these, the handle has gotten a little. So here, listen to that. That's not the knob knocking. That's the whole entire handle. So just something to think about. I mean, it's probably, I would assume it's probably going to happen to the MQ as you use this reel. Right now, it doesn't do that. Listen, nothing. Super smooth, no knocking on the handle, knocking on the handle. So I'm going to assume that this is going to happen to the Ballistic MQ as you use it. I guess we'll find out. Now, let me talk about something real quick. I alluded to, how did they get the price point down? I don't know. I've watched a ton of videos on the Ballistic MQ, and the one thing that the Daiwa reps always talk about is the new Zion V. So it's right here on the box. So they essentially alluded that to get a monocoque ballistic down to the same price as the old ballistic, they had to redo the Zion. So apparently this Zion is probably cheaper to make. That's my assumption. If you kind of read between the lines on a lot of the Daiwa marketing and a lot of the Daiwa trade show speak, it sounds like working with this Zion, the old Zion material, to get this into a much bigger housing, you know, because the ballistic requires a much bigger body and more material than the old ballistic. To keep the cost down, it sounds like they need to design a new Zion, reformulate the Zion, do something to get the cost down on the Zion to make it feasible to, you know, drop out to the market at this price point. Whatever they did is great. I mean, I really can't tell the difference. Now, weight-wise, I'm going to show you. So on the box, it reads 7.6 ounces. Yes, that comes in right at, I think it was like just 7.59 or something like that. So yeah, 7.58 with no line. Now, that is essentially the same weight as the Kage. So the Kage MQ with no line on it weighed at 7.45. So the MQ is actually a little heavier, like, you know, 0.1 or 0.1 ounce heavier than the Kage. So they're both essentially the same weight. So this is not a light reel. In hand, I was like, okay, it's basically a Kage as far as like weight and size goes. It's got a big body. It's got a big spool and rotor. You know, here, for instance, like, you know, this weighs in at that 7.6 ounces. Here's a Vanford 3000. The Vanford 3000 comes in at 6.3. So the Vanford, it's basically the same price as the ballistic, but it is over an ounce lighter. So if you're looking for a like $200 to $230 bass fishing spinning reel and you want it as light as possible, say you got a P5 or an NRX or some really, really lightweight rod and you want the lightest reel possible, you do not want the ballistic. Not the new ballistic, not the MQ. The old ballistic LT is extremely light. This weighs about the same as that Vanford. 6.8 with line, so there's, you know, a whole spool of line on there. So my point is, be aware that this thing is a little chunky, it's a little heavy, but it's a way bigger body. Massive main gear with the monocoque. All one-piece housing, big gear. Now here's the advantages. I'm just going to tell you this right up front. When you're turning the handle on this on this Ballistic MQ, it is smooth. It takes very, very little force. It's very reminiscent of my Shimano Xsense, the old Xsense. It really reminds me of that. Now I pick up the Vanford and I turn the handle and I close my eyes. I can feel those gears. I mean, it is smooth, no question, but I can feel the mechanical teeth going in and out of the gear. You can just feel it through the handle. Completely, it's there. Like you're getting vibration. You pick up the new ballistic, turn it. I seriously don't feel the gears. It is really ridiculously smooth. It is so nice. It's very much like the Kage. The Kage is very similar. You pick it up and you turn it, and it's so light. Although I am getting the clicky noise in the handle, which is a little annoying for a $350 spinning reel. But you know, almost all Daiwas, after you use them for a while, they break in, quote unquote. They loosen up a little bit. The Kage is no exception. So anyway, but the point is the smoothness is there. I've used this reel for an entire season. This was like my main Ned rig reel, so I use Ned rig a lot. I use this reel quite a bit, and man, this thing is still just insanely nice to turn. The handles, so the Kage handle is way bigger, and it has that little Kage branding. I think the handle on the Ballistic looks cooler because you got that silver trim piece on the outside versus that kind of bland, boring Daiwa plastic piece there. So I think in the handle department, the Ballistic wins. Looks wise, this thing is fantastic. This thing is, I mean, I was dogging that everything is red, but man, this is a beautiful, beautiful reel. I think it looks cooler than the Kage. The Kage is kind of now looks a little boring compared to this guy. Super nice. Next to the Vanford, the Vanford's a great looking reel as well. I just think this thing pops a little more with all that extra red accents, and the spool's like a different kind of color. And anyway, in the looks department, man, this thing is gorgeous. Love the way this thing looks. So anyway, like I said, I haven't gotten out and fished this reel, but I'm assuming it's going to fish basically the same as this because it's kind of the same similar platform. But if you're out shopping for them, just a couple of things. Number one, very deep spool. If you're buying this for bass fishing, you're going to want to put a lot of backing in here before you put your braid on. Keep in mind, these reels are designed for salt fishing. It's got the mag seal. Everything's waterproof. It's got the liquid sealing in this thing. You know, it's made to be very smooth for a very long time. It is made for salt and brackish water. Keep in mind that the line capacity is deep because, you know, if you're fishing redfish or snook or tarpon or even like stripers, you want like a lot of line because those are hard charging fish that are going to pull out a lot of line. So if you're buying these for bass fishing, you know, do what I'm going to do is put a whole bunch of cheap mono on there until you put your braid on. Save yourself some money. Now, you know, nice thing is you can get these on discount. I'm going to link where Omnia is getting these in stock. They get small batches. They come in, they come out. Tackle Trap has these as well. There's a lot of different places you can get these, but you got to kind of jump on them when they come into stock. Places are not getting big shipments of these things. You know, with COVID and the pipelines and, you know, all the issues with building product right now and getting it onto shelves. This might be a tough reel to get your hands on as it becomes more popular. So do I like it better than the old Ballistic? You know, this Ballistic is great. I have two of these. I've beaten the crap out of them. I really do like these. The anti-reverse is obviously one of the Achilles heels on these reels. The anti-reverse tends to conk out and need to be replaced. I mean, it's only like about a $13 to $15 fix, so it's not like a huge deal. But you know, great reel. If you can find these old Ballistics on sale or people are dumping them to upgrade, jump on them. Fantastic reels. I like these better than the Daiwa Tatula LTs simply for all of the mag seal waterproofing that actually does make it so these things feel smoother and longer. It's just true. But man, these things are sweet. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to go out and you're just buying a reel for straight bass fishing, do you get the Ballistic or do you get the Vanford? I have to say the Vanford is still the king in the $200 to $230 price point for bass fishing because you got the shallow spool, don't have to use as much line. You got the Shimano fit and finish and tolerances are just awesome on these reels. And you're getting a much lighter weight reel, which a lot of us who are fishing for bass, we're using like 6'10", 7 foot, 7'3", lightweight spinning reels. And we don't necessarily need a big chunky reel to balance out those rods. However, if you have a rod that's a little tip heavy or you have a rod that could use a little extra balance, this thing is sweet. So you're getting the big overbuilt body, the big gears, the extremely just juicy, smooth reeling. I mean, this thing feels for $230 or whatever these MSRP at, for under 250 bucks. This has to be the smoothest, best feeling spinning reel that I've personally used. It is way smoother and less effort to turn than the Vanford. It just is. These are both brand new out of the box. Neither of them are really broken in. However, if I was going to go buy a reel tomorrow to throw on like my NRX or to throw on a Megabass P5 spinning rod or something like that, I'm probably still going to go and grab the Vanford just because I know this bad boy is going to be light. It's going to take a lot of abuse and probably is going to stay a lot tighter than the Daiwa stuff. But anyway, I'm happy to try this out. I'm going to give this a good go. One thing to note too is Daiwa finally got the shimming on the handles on these right. If you listen, no side to side play and knocking out of the box. So typically, even like with the Kage, I had to change out the shims. I'm sorry, I had to change out the not the bearings, but man, I'm blanking right now. But the plastic pieces in there that are fake bearings, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm just blanking on this right now. But anyway, I had to put bearings in the handle on this. I definitely don't have to here. So anyway, this is my thoughts, opinions, first impressions of the Daiwa Kage MQ. This has been a reel that everyone's been waiting for, especially spinning reel nerds. People are super excited about this. And, you know, if you get a chance to get one, you will not be disappointed. This reel would look so sick on a new Steez AGS rod where you got that black and red. I mean, these things are just born to be put on one of those new Steez AGS rods. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll pick up one of those rods. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Anyway, that's it. I hope you liked this video. If you made it this far, please hit like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, and we'll see you in the next one.